It's that time of the year again. The Boston Celtics are one of the best regular season teams in the NBA. There's a host of young teams out west that seems to be ready to kind of take the reins and take it away from the old generation. But then there's still that little boogeyman out there east, right there, that 8th or 7th seed that seems to always just be lurking, ready to ruin somebody's day. The Miami Heat are playing 31-25. Not the greatest record in the world, but right now they've been playing some pretty good basketball after going on one of the worst slides they ever have. And as of right now, we're recording this the day after they beat the Pelicans in that little scuffle, but they've had the best defense so far in February. The Miami Heat right now are honestly hitting a nice little stride, and that's what is a little bit terrifying for the Celtics conference, because for some reason, once the postseason does come around, it seems like there's a switch is flipped and this team is now in the upper echelons of the entire league. And this year, I'm not gonna lie, as a fan, I've watched every single game from them this year. I have faith that it's going to be the same thing. So let's talk about it. So the Miami Heat have had a pretty unlucky and up and down year so far, but it's kind of followed the patterns of years of past. Back in 2020, this team had a lot of problems with fourth quarter execution during the regular season, only for that to completely turn around come playoff time. In 2022, they relied heavily on their three-point shot and three-point jumpers to win games in the regular season, but even as that tapered off in the playoffs, they found other ways to get and win games. And last year's playoffs, the entire regular season, they suffered from playing down to their competition and constantly not being able to hit three-point jumpers in the first half of the year. Now, the second half of the year, the shooting kind of picked up a little bit, and going into the playoffs, they had their best run shooting the ball in the past couple of years. So they've always been able to figure things out even when the going gets tough. But it seems really hard to be banking on a team to constantly being able to figure things out on the fly that they haven't been doing the entire year. But there's something different about this team. Erik Spoelstra said it recently in a post-game interview or a post-game press conference, where he just said, sometimes it may not be the best thing for a team for everything to just go right for a team the entire year. Sometimes it's good to follow some adversity so you learn and you're ready for it when time comes around. And this team has always been about fighting through adversity. They aren't the most talented, but they play together and they just know how to win games. And even though it is my favorite team, I have to have a justifiable reason as to why I think this team can even do anything when it comes to the playoffs, even with being the 8th seed right now. And to be honest, for me, it's a simple fact that I understand the amount of injuries that's been on this team, and I've seen what they can do when they play at the top of their game. Jimmy Butler, the first half of this year, up until January, was playing like a damn dumbass. Like, genuinely. The coasting was at an all-time high this year, and he's slowly been picking it up, and as he's been picking it up, it's been easier and easier to win games. Spo has experimented with him being the main ball handler and the point guard, and it's forced him to really be engaged in games and make the right decisions, and it's forced him to be aggressive, and it seems like we've gotten the same Jimmy that we've gotten later in years past. Bam Adebayo this year has really taken the reins as a scorer, but even as his scoring has tapered off throughout the year, he has also taken back his role as the hub for this team. He has now been a maestro the past couple games and, to be honest, been great at overall handling the offense. A play that's been worked well for this team for years has been the DHO action between Bam and Tyler, or Bam and Duncan Robinson, and they've played to it a little bit less this year, and I think that's mostly because they got a little bit too reliant on that being the way that they score buckets, and they need to find other ways for them to score reliably, so that when the playoffs does come around, they still have that to bank on if they do need a bucket, because it doesn't make any sense as to why you stop running a play that almost was an automatic bucket sometimes for your team. But Bam has also been the best he's ever been defensively. So, on top of him being, in my opinion, a defensive player of the year, but also for top 3 defender in the game, and a ever-expanding offensive bag, it just seems like Bam this year is better than ever and is fully ready to take the reins as Jimmy gets older for this team. No matter how angry you get at him, Tyler Hero seems to be improving steadily as the year has gone on. He started out in a heater that got a pretty bad ankle injury, and it's been kind of up and down play for him for most of the year. But as we've traded Kyle Lowry away, brought in Terry Rozier, and him having spells where he's the main ball handler, takes the most shots, and sometimes he plays back a little bit, and then slowly coming into that Klay Thompson type of role where he kind of cuts out a lot of the mid-range jumpers and is either at the rim or shooting from 3, he's slowly been able to get better. And as he's adjusted his shot diet, he's been also a lot better playmaker. When he's focused on getting downhill and to the rim, he's been doing a better job of collapsing defenses and making the right play. And you can slowly see him learning on how to do that, playoff closeouts a lot better, and I think that can be extremely helpful to this team even as we get to the playoffs when Jimmy fully takes the ball out of other people's hands. He is the main initiator time in and time out, and Tyler is now playing off closeouts, and he's experienced in doing that. Another justifiable reason to really believe in this team is their bench. They've been really injured this year, but the reason they even still have a positive record, is still even in the playoff hunt, is because this team this year has been absolutely incredibly deep. Every single time somebody goes down, somebody else steps up in their spot. Jaime Jaquez Jr. was an extreme revelation for this team. Nobody expected him to be this good this fast, but Nikola Jovic in some of his spells this year has been absolutely amazing. Whenever Tyler has gone down, Duncan's been filling his role in the starting lineup just as well, and some people may even think that Duncan's better in that starting role, but that's neither here nor there. You have guys like Josh Richardson, Kevin Love, that's whenever they get on the court, they've been amazing, and Kevin Love has been absolutely incredible for this team this year. You have guys like Haywood Highsmith, and whether he's starting or coming off the bench along with Caleb Martin, they've always been able to produce consistently. This team just seems like they have the tools to truly make a deep run, and they just have not either unlocked or they just haven't shown all the things that they can do in the regular season so far. And I think you'll see them do a little bit more of it as the regular season goes along, and you may see them win close to maybe 48 to 50 games. I fully expect them not to lose more than 10 games in this second half, maybe going 17 and 10, or probably somewhere like 20 and 22 and 7, because one, they don't have that too hard of a schedule, and two, they're just seem that good when they do have all their shit together. And then you talk about the addition of Terry Rozier, having another ball handler that can get to the rim and collapse defenses, somebody that plays well in the pick and roll, Bam, somebody that's done really well to scoring between 3 to 10 feet this year, somebody who was getting minutes when he was back on Boston for being a dog defensively, and he's shown that he can still show that little bit of a dog defensively here with this team. Overall, even though his offensive game hasn't been too crazy since he's been here, I think it's going to take some time for him to get used to it, and Miami's already been having trouble with their guard rotations and who handles the ball here and who doesn't. So I think it's just going to take some time to figure out, and the second half of the year is going to be great to see him actually get acclimated to that role. But at the end of the day, the main reason to always have faith in this team, to always know that whatever it is seems impossible is very possible, because of that man, Jimmy Butler. For 3 of the past 4 years, he's been absolutely amazing in the NBA playoffs. The 1 year he was in the shortest offseason of all time, and he went in the playoffs and banged up. I'm not really too worried about it. It is what it is. Guys burn out fast anyway. But the past 2 playoff runs have shown truly who he is when those playoffs come around, and as time ramps up and as he gets more engaged in the regular season, he shows why he's still one of the top 15, top 10 guys in this league. And I don't expect anything different even at the age of 34 this year. And I know some of his rotations and decision making sometimes is quite hard to understand. It pisses me off too in the regular season. Erik Spoelstra is still the best coach in the NBA for a reason, and I fully respect and trust that he'll make the right decision come playoff time, and I will sit here with my untrained eye and not judge every single thing he does, because I probably don't know better than a 2-time champion. So with that being said, let me guys think about the Miami Heat in the comment section down below. This has been my favorite team for years. We all know this. This channel is full of videos for them, so if you like the Miami Heat, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It lets me know you like me and what other videos you want me to create. I've been gone for a while, but I'm back for the second half of the season. So with that being said, if you like basketball content overall, we'll be talking about a lot of the contenders and what makes them contenders and what makes them so good over the next couple weeks. So that being said, it's FLB. That's my time, and I'm out.